Good morning. I'm Pete Najarian. This is the Take for Market Rebellion. I'm kind of laughing, kind of smiling, kind of just can't figure anything out about these markets. I'll tell you what, the volatility of which we are trading in intraday is absolutely incredible. And that even includes yesterday. And yesterday, well, we opened and we started to run. We were up over 500 points to the upside. Midday, all of a sudden, we hit some of those lows. We were down about 300 points, only to finish the day up 85 points. Why not, right? So we did finish in negative territory. We finished down 85 points, but very, very close to getting back towards flat. The volatility and the actual movement within the markets has been absolutely extraordinary. Then, yesterday, the NASDAQ, it jumps. It got all the way up towards that 12,000 level. It's up about 300 points. Been moving around, bouncing back and forth and back and forth. That one did finish up into the green and up over triple digits with 114 points to the upside. S&P all over the place, finished up just a mild 9 points on the day. Just gives you a little bit of an idea of just how wild this ride has become. Part of that comes from the punishment that we did see yesterday in crude oil. Now, crude had a pretty interesting run, been holding up there, call it anywhere between 102 and 110. We broke underneath 100 yesterday. Matter of fact, closed at 99.50 yesterday. That was something that certainly did stand out and certainly had effects on the market itself as well. We also were watching the price of the 10-year. Now, the 10-year has been moving back and forth. It's been running up not only at 3, but actually moving up even further along that chain to the upside. Started to pull back a little bit yesterday. Closed right just under 3, but we're rather, we don't need to quibble over this whole thing. Somewhere very close to 3, but the 10-year certainly also having a lot of movement. You look at volatility, the volatility index yesterday, 32.5, all the way up towards 35, finishing up the day at a 33, which is actually down about 5% on the day, despite the fact the market was absolutely all over the place. Sectors, and why did the NASDAQ actually finish positive? Well, technology had a very nice day, up about 1.5%. You also had energy and some of those components that do slip into the NASDAQ itself. That was up about 1% yesterday. Financials did pull back a little bit. Staples, which had been the one area of green a couple of days ago, actually did give back some of that. It was down about 0.75%. So the movers and the strength that we had to the upside yesterday, we certainly had some strength out of the chips with Broadcom. I look at NVIDIA, I look at Microchip, all of those positive territory. Then you look at Cisco Foods, not Cisco, the stock with everything we always talk about within the tech side of things, but this is Cisco Food. That one also had a really nice day yesterday. CrowdStrike. I look at Palo Alto. I look at some of the mega cap tech, all not really moving in a huge way to the upside. But when you get all that big mega cap tech moving to the upside into positive territory, that's going to have an influence. I'm talking Apple. I'm talking Cisco, the tech company. I'm talking Microsoft, Salesforce. You get the idea. Amgen also had a pretty nice day yesterday. What didn't have a nice day yesterday, some of those names over there in the retail space, I take a look over at TJX and Ross stores under a little bit of pressure. Some of the railroads, I look at CSX, that had a little bit of pressure, a little bit of pullback out of IBM and the financials. We mentioned the financials already, and the financials down nearly 1% yesterday, but it was JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs with a little bit of a give back, along with 3M that had that big bounce. 40 million contracts trading yesterday. And with that 40 million, only Apple actually penetrated and closed above 1 million contracts trading yesterday, but still 40 million contracts, a little bit below the year-to-date average, but May continues to be a lot stronger than what we were seeing throughout most of April. Now, volatility, to say it's volatile today with the CPI and those numbers coming out and it's hot and everybody trying to interpret all the various nuance of everything that was happening. Well, we were down, we were up, we were flat. We've been just about everywhere. And then once we got into, that was in the pre-market. Then we get into the opening and oh boy, well, we're up 80 points, down 40 points on the NASDAQ. Seems pretty calm. Since that time, we have been up and down and literally all around. Moments ago, but just before we came on here, I look at the Dow was up about 335 points. Well, the next blink of an eye, just as we came on, I just took one last look, it was up about 260. So we know this, at least for the very moment that we are talking right now. Positive territory for the Dow, up about triple digits. We are also seeing the NASDAQ all over the map. It's been up and down. It's been down as much as 170 points to the downside or more. And we've actually seen it get into positive territory by nearly triple digits. So that's been all over the place as well. So crude made a really rapid move back up to the upside, not only capturing 100, got to 103. Next thing you know, in a blink of an eye, got up to 105. That's why when we're looking at energy and we see a 2% move early on in that sector, next thing you know, as we get 1 hour into the trading day, up about 3.5% for energy. Bitcoin started off the day getting pounded once again. It was underneath 30,000. I mentioned the 10-year, still hanging around that 3 area. 299, call it 301, whatever you want to call, somewhere very, very close to 3. Now, we have also seen sellers running at some of those risk assets out there, and that's where we're seeing a lot of the negative side of what we are seeing. And, of course, earnings continue to come out. Well, real quick look at just 2 of them that I want to point out. Unity Software, Now, this one's down. It's been down anywhere between 15 and call it well over 20% to the downside, had some weak guidance. That was mainly the reasons we were seeing that get hit to the downside. Coinbase, another one that's been absolutely all over, but all to the downside today. They had a huge miss when you're looking at those earnings and a huge loss, actually. And that's not what was expected, but certainly disappointing, and the market's punishing them for that. Now, some of these components are within the ARK-F or the ARK-K puts that we've been talking about of late. All that put buying, that rolling that we've been seeing going to the downside. We actually saw new 52-week lows, at least early on, for both of these 2 indices or these 2 ETFs. But I got to tell you, you've got to be very disciplined in this market, because the ups and downs, as we know, and we're seeing it minute by minute right now, you've got to have a game plan as you're attacking these markets, because we certainly are seeing something like I haven't seen in a really, really long time. It's kind of exciting, but at the same time can be very, very stressful. So try to remove that stress and understand, and maybe you even have to have different stop levels that you're looking at, or at least trigger levels or trim levels or whatever that might be. Just the thought, and that's something that we are certainly doing here at Market Rebellion. So materials, they were up about 0.7% early on, almost 2% in a rapid first hour of trade. That's been absolutely crazy. Financials were in positive territory by about 0.25%. They were up about 1%. Technology got a little bit better. Consumer discretion got a little bit better. So that's kind of the reasoning behind why we've seen a bit of a NASDAQ lag, but we all know things can change and things can really start ripping in a hurry. On the positive side, Electronic Arts, EA, that one definitely standing out. Beta Energy names across the board, all performing really, really nicely, from Conoco to Hess to Devon to Marathon Oil. All of them having a great start to the Chinese names as well, with NetEase and PDD and Baidu and JD, all in positive territory early on. Of course, the big mega cap oil names having a really nice day. Chevron basically been leading the Dow the entire way. Throw in Exxon as well, not part of the Dow, but Exxon having a pretty good day as well. Merck, IBM, Boeing, Caterpillar. This is a very broad-based move, specifically when I'm looking over at the Dow itself. Very, very nice broad move to the upside today, finding a lot less in negative territory today than we have been, for sure. Housing, a little bit of pressure on that. You got Pulte, you've got DR Horton, you've got Lennar, all were in negative territory, at least early on. Things are changing rapidly. Tesla was under a little bit of pressure. Microsoft and Apple, nothing bad, but they were red early on. Dish getting absolutely slammed. You had Datadog, Lucid, NVIDIA was off early, NXPI off early. We'll see if some of these semiconductors get a little bit of a turn as things look like, at least right now, maybe a little bit more positive than we started the day. Let's just say it that way. So we'll continue to monitor this. Of course, I will be on the halftime report. Oh, before I get to the unusual, I got something for you. AJ, Monty, and John. AJ is absolutely a magnificent guy, a great person, unbelievable with the charts, and a guy who's got very bold decision-making that he goes through as he's going through these charts. He and John today at the market close, they're going to be dissecting this crazy market that we're all living in and trading in and investing in right now. Those guys are going to have a great time. It's going to be pretty exciting. I might even jump in on that call for a little while early on. It's at the market close today. It's AJ, it's John. It's going to be a great thing. They're going to give you a lot of what we are seeing in unusual option activity and what AJ's interpretation of a lot of these various charts is looking like as well. So that should be a lot of fun. That's at the market close today. It's Wednesday. So two of them and I'm out of here. U.S. Steel, letter X, 2630 is where the stock was trading. Had a buyer of 4,100 of Friday's expiring 27.5 calls. So $1 out of the money calls, trading for 20 cents up to about 27 cents. Fairly inexpensive. Will it be able to make that kind of a move? We've got 3 days to see if that can pan out. IGT is the next one, trading a little over 21. We had a buyer of 10,000 of the May 22 calls there. So again, about $1 out of the money. This time a little bit more expensive, a little bit more implied volatility here. 95 cents for these calls. Will IGT be able to make that move to the upside? You've got a little bit more of an extended time. These are not expiring this Friday. They're expiring the following Friday. So keep that in mind. There is a little bit more time on these IGT calls that we're seeing that are getting bought. 10,000 of those calls. I will see on the halftime report, we got all kinds of new unusual option activity. Should be a lot of fun on that show. We got a lot of different things going on. And of course, there's always going to be some guests. I don't know if I can tell you who our primary guest is going to be today, but you're going to want to listen to what this gentleman has to say about the markets. He really does make some incredible calls oftentimes. I'm Pete Najarian. This is The Take. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you tomorrow.